Kentucky National Guardsmen recently trained with the Japanese Self-Defense Force in Djibouti, Africa. Petty Officer Cody Boyd has more.
The Japanese soldiers showed the Guardsmen 3 different types of martial arts: Judo, Jukendo, and Nihon Kempo. The Japanese Self-Defense Force is just for self-defense and the defense of our country. We also have some problems about terrorism inside our country. And U.S. soldiers and U.S. military have lots of skills and knowledge about real war and real fighting. The training was designed to build new skills and enhance friendships between soldiers of both countries as they serve their deployments in Djibouti.
Got to learn some cool new things I can take back and show my guys, and I think it's been really fun getting to interact with the Japanese Army.
For Combined Joint Task Force Horn of Africa Public Affairs, I'm Petty Officer Cody Boyd.
Sailors stationed at Naval Air Facility Misawa trained Japan Ground Self-Defense Force soldiers in English and U.S. military tactics in an effort to break down the language barrier.
In the situation where we do face a contingency, where we have to go into a joint environment, so many times in the past, at that time is when we start learning each other's languages, or learning a little bit more and delving into the climate and culture of their service. So by doing this early here in Misawa, it really does shape up a better preparation for future contingency, if that does occur.
Hand there you go, forward, bang.
Their English skills is the primary objective. They're all learning more English, but so much more as far as what we do in the U.S. military.
Senior Chief Brian Delcourt, Naval Air Facility, Misawa, Japan.
It is indeed an honor.
U.S. Army's 1st Corps from Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington State joins the Japan Ground Self-Defense Forces Eastern Army for the start of Joint Exercise Yamasakura 67. This year's exercise, held at Camp Osaka, Japan, allows both forces to exchange ideas, tactics, military experiences, and culture.
The opportunities provided by Yamasakura are key components of the U.S. strategy to continue its rebalance to the Pacific. But more importantly, the opportunities here for readiness, collaboration, and communication is important for well-trained soldiers and well-disciplined soldiers to continue our mission.
Yamasakura is an annual exercise which focuses on the development and refinement of Japan and U.S. forces' ability to plan and coordinate through simulated-driven training scenarios.
Yamasakura is not an isolated training event. It is in fact strategically important to Japan, the region, and more importantly, our continued alliance between the United States of America and the great nation of Japan.
Following the opening ceremony, the generals from 1st Corps and Eastern Army took questions from Japanese and American media.
U.S. forces are an irreplaceable partner to the JSDF, and I believe we will continue to work in response to new challenges and mounting threats to improve this exercise in the future.
Yamasakura will last approximately 5 days and will test these two forces' ability to defend Japan together. Petty Officer Brian M. Brooks, Camp Osaka, Japan.
Members of the Japanese Self-Defense Ground Forces joined 5th Battalion, 20th Infantry Regiment soldiers for a combined mortar live fire at the Yakima Training Center. U.S. soldiers observed and learned different techniques from their Japanese counterparts and then showed them how they aim and fire rounds using forward observers. Even though they speak different languages, the exercise went on without a hitch.
Their principles are the same as our principles. It's the same language. We don't need an interpreter really to understand what's going on with them, and they don't need an interpreter to understand what's going on with us. We pretty much can point and speak the same language.
For the 5th Mobile Public Affairs Detachment, I'm Army Sergeant.
Japanese government officials are preparing security legislation that would allow the country to exercise its right to collective self-defense. The Prime Minister has reiterated the scenarios should include minesweeping in sea lanes. Shinzo Abe said personnel could help with operations in the Strait of Hormuz in the Persian Gulf in the event that route was blockaded.
If oil supply is disrupted, it would have a vital impact on the power supply in Japan. It would be a matter of life and death. According to international law, a minesweeping operation is considered the use of force, the use of the right to collective self-defense. so we intend to allow use of force in a passive and restrictive manner.
Abe stressed that Japanese vessels would not be deployed to a combat zone. He also said his government will proceed with the security legislation while maintaining consistency with the review of Japan-U.S. defense cooperation guidelines.
Japan's self-defense forces will not be able to engage in activities to implement the guidelines unless we have relevant laws. At the same time, we will discuss what we should do to secure regional peace and stability by the Japan-U.S. alliance. Those discussions will proceed side by side.
The guideline was last revised in 1997. Abe wants to change it to be able to better respond to any contingency. He also wants to step up cooperation in peacekeeping activities and logistics.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar درجة 30/5/2014